Cherry's three. Johnny Walker mashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Recent drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls on. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off. And buries the front. Daniels takes the shot for
Yes, welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Look at this, live back on the road again. You see it here at the home of phenomenal Sun Devil hockey. I am Michael Carrotino at Diablo00 on X. Joining me is a Sun Devil hockey player. This is so awesome. Ryan O'Reilly joining us. Hey, man, thanks for jumping on. I greatly appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
This is a homer show, so you can say, not so nice things about that team down south if you want, but we pick on them a lot. But yes, it's a brainchild for a while. All right, well, I'm going to jump right into it. You guys obviously having a very, very solid season. A little speed bumps this last weekend against a very good team in Cornell. But just your overall thoughts of hockey actually working in the desert, your time here at ASU, Ryan.
Yeah, no, it's been a great stretch here these past 11, 12 games, minus this weekend. But this is my fourth season here with the Sun Devils, and it's been fantastic. Going from a COVID year in Oceanside and then opening the new rink. It's been a fantastic 4 years playing out here in the desert.
Now, it's an intimate atmosphere here, but at Oceanside, I'm glad you brought that up because it had to start somewhere, obviously, going Division I, but playing games there, I mean, like you said, obviously dealing with COVID, but just the atmosphere there, I mean, how it was challenging, but how much fun was that?
Yeah, it was fun, like low ceiling. It's a pretty intimate game. You have your friends and family sitting right there when you're coming out of the locker room, and there's not a lot of people there, but you can point out a lot of people in the stands that are there watching. And, it was a fun atmosphere to play in, but it's definitely a little bit of an upgrade coming to this building. But we're thankful to have Oceanside in our beginnings, but it's nice now to be moved in the Mullet.
And then, talk about obviously the first game. Last year obviously being the first season in here, but just that first game in here and just the electricity this arena brings. As a college player, pro player, yes, you want that energy, but just to be a part of it and have obviously Sun Devil Nation out here. What was that first game like for you?
Yeah, the first game was nuts. We actually came back from a road trip, so we weren't even practicing in here. So we came back from Minnesota and, dropped our bags in the rink that week, and we were playing that weekend. So we didn't really have too much time in the rink before then. So it was all kind of a new feeling for us that first set of games. And, it's been electric ever since. The, student section's been awesome. It's sold out pretty much every single game. And, our fans here are, generous to have season ticket holders that come back every year, and we have a packed house every time we play in Mullet.
Yeah, it's again, hockey can obviously work in the desert. Speaking of that, you're from Texas. Mm-hmm. I know, and hoping to get talking to you. I know your dad was a swimmer and water polo player. Your mom was a volleyball player. But how does the kid from Texas get into hockey?
Yeah, my dad played in high school, but I have two older brothers that played before me. So as the youngest brother, I always wanted to do what they did, and being in Dallas with the Stars moving there and winning a cup in '99, that kind of grew the hockey culture down south, and it was always something we liked doing growing up. And like I said, I kind of just followed my brother's footsteps, and we were all grateful to play at high levels, and kind of brought me back out here to a warm weather state and playing hockey here.
Exactly, get to be inside it cool and go outside and you can melt again, but you can always come inside. Playing for Coach Powers, obviously he has been. The team was a club team, and he's been here for a long time. What's it like playing for him?
Yeah, it's been great and given me a lot of opportunity here, and it's been a great 4 years. And we've had kind of a roller coaster ride with that COVID year, but we've been through a lot together, especially the seniors on this team, and it's all kind of paying off in this last year. And we're having a great season right now, but we're not satisfied where we're at, and where we're going is great, and we're pretty hungry to make the tournament this season.
And okay, look at that, perfect. You got a future in broadcasting, Ryan. Look at that, segues to me perfectly. Like, obviously the goal is to get to the postseason. How you guys have played, the teams that you have played, the teams that you've obviously split with on this ice, highly ranked teams. Yeah, a little bit, like I said, of a speed bump against Cornell. But when you see what this team has done and what you guys are capable of, and yes, I do agree. I know it's one game at a time, but how far can this team go? Can you guys make a tournament push, to say the least?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit with our group. I mean, we've beaten Denver in overtime. We've taken Providence to overtime. This last weekend, we went to overtime with Cornell, and those are all great teams. But I think we went, like I said earlier, on an 11-game stretch, and we have 12 games here left in the regular season. They're against a lot of independent teams, so that's kind of our conference playoffs right now. And anything short of 12 wins is devastating for us, and not really what we want. So the bar is set really high, and it's very doable with the team we have, and we have a lot of good guys in the locker room and a lot of guys on staff that are hungry to win and get the playoffs. And I mean, that's the main focus for us right now.
Now, chemistry is always a huge. I mean, you hear it in all sports. Coaches, players talk about, but obviously, coach kind of mixing up the lines a little bit lately. But the talent you guys have, it's there. Yes, when you're playing next to somebody, you understand, spacing where they want to be. But to have the ability to mix up the lines and how you guys play, how big of an advantage do you feel that is for you?
I think the chemistry is good with a lot of guys in the room. We have a pretty versatile group, so you can mix and match the lineup no problem. And I mean, I've been playing with Smalley and Benji for a bit, and that's kind of some chemistry, like you just said, we've built throughout these past 6-8 games. And I mean, we've found a lot of success in that, and same with other lines too. I mean, when you're building that chemistry in practice, you kind of just know where each other are in the ice.
Now, hockey players that have been around, you guys they're pretty good pranksters. They're pretty good jokers. So on the lighter side, I mean, you can say you are, but who do you think would take the trophy as the biggest prankster, or maybe the most stealth, that gets away with it the most, that nobody finds out till later pulled a good prank?
I don't know. There's not too many hidden pranksters around the room. I'd say Tucker Ness is a pretty good one. He's always pushing guys' buttons, so he's probably a good call for me.
All right, fair. I like that. I having played with my cousins and a lot of close friends, like the pranks and stealing of certain things that shouldn't have been stolen, I never appreciated. But I was always fair game for a prank. When you look at, and I'll get you out of here on this. When you look at like where obviously the program started, Division I, and going back and forth, like you said, playing some even in Glendale and some obviously at Oceanside, but where it started to where it is now and how it's growing, what can this program reach hockey-wise?
Yeah, just be a Frozen Four contender every single year, and we're joining a conference next season, and that's another big thing for us. Making the tournaments relatively hard. It's always based off pairwise, and that can be kind of rocky with your schedule. Right. But where this program's going, joining a really good conference, I mean, they could be a team that makes the playoffs every single season. Well,
I would be a big supporter. I haven't gotten in my lifetime to go to a few Frozen Four games and just see the matchup and the intent. I mean, you're on the ice for it, but that's awesome. Ryan, hey, I greatly appreciate the time. We're going to step aside, let him get out of here. We're going to stay here at the Phenomenal Mullet Arena. Like you said, come out here this weekend. You got Augustana, right?
Yeah.
Augustana from South Dakota. So they get to – this is actually swimming weather for them outside. We're complaining it's cold. People from Arizona, this is swimming weather for them. So hopefully good luck to them. Obviously, I'll step aside real quick. We'll be back with more Pitchfork Lunch coming up. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch from, yes, good old Mullet Arena. You see it right there. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Huge ups to Ryan O'Reilly, who has actually been finishing up his college career, but drafted by the Detroit Red Wings, who, for those of you aren't familiar with college hockey, which, again, it's a bummer if you're not, you should be, but it's a little bit different than the MLB draft as to where if they go to college, well, not junior college, but if they go Division One, they have to stay for 3 years before they can get drafted. If they decide to commit, and they sign and commit and play with the school, they have to wait 3 years. Hockey, the team, if they're draft eligible, they hold their rights until they finish college. So Ryan O'Reilly headed to the Detroit Red Wings. Great catching up with him again. Hope to have have more hockey players as the season goes on. Like I said, they're playing Augustana out of South Dakota this weekend, Friday and Saturday. So again, get on out here to Mullet Arena. It's definitely worth it, to say the least. Get on out here to Mullet Arena, support the Devils, and you know what? I mean, come on. It's hockey. It's the desert. It works. This team is, again, just phenomenal. I mean, 16-5-5 now overall. 16-5-5 overall. And it's, like I said, they have, and Ryan just said, they have a hugely electric atmosphere here at Mullet Arena. Yes, it was fun. It was awesome. 16-5-5 overall, 13-4-3 at home, 3-1-2 away. So a team that for Coach Powers absolutely rocking, and for the Devils. And look, I mean, like he said, they need to get these wins, and I'm glad he touched on that. I mean, being independent, not part of a conference. I know I mentioned that way back when the show, when I first started the show 90 episodes ago. But again, Monday through Friday, 12-1, right here. Get out to again Mullet Arena, as they will be taking on Augustana, like I said, from South Dakota, and then they have a nice break. The 19th and 20th, and then they don't play Linwood again, which Linwood will be here February 2nd and 3rd for the Sun Devils. So, look, absolutely huge. Talking to Ryan O'Reilly again. If you missed it, you know this. If you missed it, again, you can see the show live here on X, again, formerly known as Twitter. Also, my IG, Michael.Caratino.5. On Instagram, and also the YouTube channel. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Subscribe. Go to it's on YouTube, so you can search it. It's M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Yes, subscribe. Yes, I know you see me in long sleeves talking about, cool weather outside, hot weather outside. Yes, it's a nice rink. It's got to be kept cold. And the Coyotes, again, playing here at Mullet Arena for the second season, as, yes, hopefully working out their stadium issue. Not going to get into the frustration of that. The Coyotes belong here. Hockey works in the desert, but we're at Mullet Arena. Again, check out this team this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Both games are at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Friday, 7 p.m. Saturday. And it's, again, looking to get back in the win column. And this team has played so well. Again, and Coach Powers talked about, obviously, has played you the post-game sound from Friday about mixing up the lines. I'm going to play sound in a little bit, too. I got a lot more to get to, but from Matthew Copperud and Gibson Homer, along with Charlie Schoen. from the hockey team, who, again, talked about obviously this last weekend, but we'll have more sound from them as well. Men's hoops tomorrow night. They take on the Bruins. Get out to DFA, which is just about 500 feet from Mullet Arena here, but get out to DFA and cheer them on against the Bruins, because I'll tell you this right now, guys, UCLA, surprisingly enough, is struggling just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a big match against sorry, pardon me. Just getting something taken care of real quick. But yeah, they are taking on the Bruins. Sorry, way too long there. They're taking on the Bruins, and UCLA struggling a little bit, like I said. And ASU, again, coming off that tough loss, first conference loss at UW. And looking to get back in the win column. They are knocking on 7-0 at home, defending the home court like they need to do after, again, what was a very much of a rocky / roller coaster non-conference schedule. Well, results wise. So yeah, they'll be taking on the Bruins again at DFA. Wednesday, not Thursday. Usually it's Thursday, Saturday, but this week it's Wednesday, Saturday. So they get, and they only played the one game last week, so they got a little bit of extra time to get ready for the Bruins. And go from there. So yeah, when you look at what when you look at like I said, what the Devils have done at home, absolutely huge. And being undefeated at home is huge. So it's I mean, it's going to be big because look at UCLA right now. I mean, in the Pac-12, Oregon is the only undefeated team, right? They are 5-0, are the Ducks, and they are rolling. They're 13-3 overall, still unranked. Arizona, who fell 4 more spots in the rankings because they lost to Washington State on the road. Arizona is ranked 12th in the country, but Oregon's 5-0. The Devils 4-1. Stanford is 4-2 in conference play, and then the Wildcats are 3-2, and then Colorado and Utah and Washington State all 3-3, and then you have the Trojans, the Golden Bears of Cal, and UCLA and Washington at 2-4, and the Oregon State is 1-4 right now. So, I mean, look, the fact that the Devils are 4-1, and with UCLA, like I said, being 2-4, 7-10 overall, it's a young team. I mean, I know for Coach Cronin, they lost quite a bit. Just to be honest, they did lose quite a bit from last year. But look, this is a team that 7-10 overall, 2-4 in conference play. If you're ASU, you need to come out. You need to again, just get off to a solid start at home. But I think it's big, like how, and I get more into it in a little bit. Don't worry, but how getting Adam Miller back and what he means to the lineup and how he has played is, again, very, very, very awesome. Just due to the fact that Adam Miller, I mean, his shot, the way he's been shooting, again, just absolutely awesome. And, mixing him in with, obviously, Frankie Collins, the point guard, being that floor general, and Jemiah Neal, Jose Perez. I mean, what he has done and what he means in this team, when the shooting's not going to get to the hoop, like I've talked about, he can back guys down. And like I said, Adam Miller, you heard it post game after they beat Colorado. You heard it post game because he's like, yeah, it's crazy. You see Jose backing guys down that are like, 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", and he's just backing them down, and he can play that game. Might not look like the fastest player on the court, but he can be physical. He's got that great mid-range shot, and when he's open, and he feels in rhythm, he's not forcing it. We've seen Jose Perez hit threes, and he's been huge from the free throw line as well. And that's one thing, I've talked about at Pitchfork Lunchers. They got to get that free throw shooting up to 80%. So they got the LA schools again. UCLA tomorrow night, Wednesday night, not Thursday, Wednesday night, as they get set to take on. The LA school. So UCLA Wednesday, and then USC normal day Saturday. That game Saturday, though, is at noon. Just a heads up. It is early. I'll talk more about it as the week goes on, but it is at noon. The women's hoops team heads back up to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Washington schools. And again, dropping those two games in Oregon for Natasha Adair. Again, they're battling, but you gotta build. I know, to overstate the obvious. Yes, I'm not splitting the atom. I know that, but you got to build 4 consecutive quarters. You can't just have that one bad quarter of, single-digit scoring, because, look, the effort has been there. Defensively, the effort has been there. Maggie Besselink, injuries. Again, she started out, and then now she, unfortunately, is back on the injured list. But that being said, it's one of those things where other players need to step up, and they have. But I mean, obviously, what Jaylen Brown is doing. I mean, she had a 20-point game. She had a 35-point game followed up by a 20-point game. And offensively, again, she is just in that zone. I mean, Jaden Simmons, again, running the offense, very, very important. But again, it's a team that needs to make those adjustments, keep the defensive intensity up, and not have that one bad quarter. So they are up in the Pacific Northwest, again, taking on Washington and Washington State this weekend. Sun Devil hockey, like I said, at home, as the Devils here at Mullet Arena, where I'm doing the show from. So gracious to come out. Obviously, media availability day for the hockey team. So very stoked about that. Very stoked about that. And we're here at Mullet Arena, but they have Augustana from South Dakota coming in. And again, this is a team that is 16-5-5 right now. And they are very good on this home ice. I mean, they went to overtime. They lost in overtime to Cornell on Friday night, and then turned around and had a tough one, loss in regulation. But again, they just took on Cornell in the, and again, it's not an excuse, and I'll play the sound in a little bit, but having played them in the Adirondack Invitational in Lake Placid, New York, winning that in a shootout. It was interesting to see, the adjustments early on, and I asked Matthew Copperhead about that, and you'll hear his answer. But both him and Gibson Homer, who was in the net the second game on Saturday, the sophomore, you'll hear them talking about it too, and then we'll also hear from Charlie Schoen. So yeah, but again, it was they were competing, they were battling. It's just obviously Cornell is a good team, and they have played quite a few good teams on this ice. And again, this weekend, come out, support them. Friday and Saturday night, both games at 7 p.m. here at the Mullet Arena, and that's what they have coming up. So yes, we will step aside, and then when I do get back, we will jump into. You'll hear the sound from post practice today here at Mullet Arena. Like I said, from Matthew Copperhead and Charlie Schoen. Copperhead, a senior forward, and Charlie Schoen, he's actually a sophomore forward, and then like Gibson Homer, like I said, the sophomore goalie who saw some time Saturday against Cornell. TJ Semptenfelter, he who's from the great state of New Jersey, by the way. He was in the net Friday night and has been the mainstay in the net for the Devils, a junior who has played so well. So we'll step aside, and we'll have a sound here on the other side on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, where you can see the show. Also, my IG, michael.caratinudo.5, and Pitchfork Lunchers. You know it. Spread the news. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M's and Michael V's and Victory C's and Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. If you're just joining me, so glad you're here. But again, you missed it. Ryan O'Reilly, the the senior forward, one of the senior forwards for the ASU hockey team, joined me to kick off the show, which again, absolutely phenomenal. Love being out here at Mullet, and again, pumping the hockey. Obviously the program, the team, but just again, Sun Devil hockey, phenomenal. Love saying that, Sun Devil hockey, which for those of you, a lot of you know, I mean, as a club team, they had a club team for a very, very, very long time. They had actually a lot of success at the club level, and then yes, making the leap, the very tough leap to Division I under the leadership of Coach Powers, which again just is absolutely awesome to say the least. And Coach Powers having been here, and like I said, I can't wait to catch up with him because obviously we learned from Coach Van Neal, the women's volleyball head coach, the Pac-12 Coach of the Year, the AVCA Southwest Region Coach of the Year. So yeah, he has a little hockey experience with Coach Powers too. So I love to hear some of those stories. But yes, as promised from earlier, before the show. Was able to catch up with senior forward Matthew Copperhead for the Devils, having a very solid season, and the sophomore the goalkeeper Gibson Homer, who played in the game on Saturday against Cornell. Again, the second game in which the Devils fell 4-1. But such a phenomenal season. The fact they've actually lost 2 in a row. I mean, again, hasn't happened all season, and they've won obviously a lot of games in a row to this point. So look, obviously the resolve is there, the fight's there from this team. They're not gonna, Coach Powers obviously, has the beat of his team, as they say, the pulse of the team. So it'll start this weekend, and then they'll have, like I said, a little bit of a break, which is very nice, and then they'll come back February 2nd. Back here in Mullet Arena, which again, get on out here. I'm telling you, like Ryan O'Reilly said, I mean, it is an electric atmosphere. It is so much. It is just so much fun. Student section always shows out, and again, the season ticket holders, again, it's a little bit over 5,000, and it's like in an intimate setting. I mean, not as close and intimate as it was at Oceanside, but hey, they made it work. And now they're here on campus. Absolutely beautiful. Love Mullet Arena. But yes, like I said beforehand, we'll hear from Matthew Copperhead and Charlie Gibson again, just talking about this last weekend and where the team's at overall. So again, I will stop chattering and let these two fine gentlemen take it away. It's from after practice today here at Mullet Arena.
Give it a go to you. Saturday actually looked really good for you, going cold. How'd you feel?
Yeah, I felt really good. Got tested early, which kind of got me into the game, fortunately. And yeah, I'm happy with how I played. Unfortunate result, but happy with how I did.
After this tough couple games, you guys have a really crucial stretch coming up in the next few weeks and to test like your pairwise rankings, and it's going to be really critical for you guys. How do you guys handle that now that looking past after this weekend?
We have to play it one game at a time. We know what the rest of our schedule looks like. We know what we have to do to get into the tournament. So we have to play Augustana this weekend, and we have to sweep them at home, and then we have to look forward to the next series. But we have to play it one game at a time and not look forward to the Saturday night when we have Friday still to go. So.
Copper, kind of for you, Augustana defensively hasn't been super great. Does that kind of give you guys a chance to really try to get all 4 lines going forward-wise?
Yeah, I think you could sort of tell this weekend that we did a little bit of out of gas playing Cornell and stuff. So I think this week it'll be nice for our guys to refresh and regroup and then come out and hopefully have the offensive capability that we do have and to hopefully produce against Augustana and take 2 wins against them.
In regards to that top 6 forward group, what do you think, if anything, has contributed to the decline of production since the start of the season?
I think it happens throughout every sports season. Teams figure out what top guys are doing, figuring out how to shut them down, but then that's on us as the top 6 players to be top 6 players and counter that and produce and help the team win. And with how slow we've been doing, it's not helping as much. Our power play slowed down a little bit. So hopefully this weekend we pick it back up and we can contribute to the team as well.
To piggyback off that, I mean, I know obviously when you're on a line, you develop chemistry with the guy, I understand, but the ability that, like, I mean, coaches kind of been mixing it up too. How big is that for you guys? I mean, matchup wise, to present issues for other teams, is being able to mix up those lines.
Yeah, it's nice because all of us were like we can play with each other. We all know sort of each other's tendencies and stuff. So if he mixes it up, it doesn't switch too many things up. It sort of throws a wrench in the other team, like when they switch up all the lines. But it doesn't affect us too much. It kind of helps us play with new players, figure out new things, and try out new things that might work.
Cop, as kind of one of the voices in the locker room, how do you get your guys to reset and kind of flush that Cornell, because you still have a chance to make the postseason if you can close at the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, we've lost 5 games all year, so like you can't look at we got swept once, and we can't look at it like it's the end of our year. We have to keep going. One sweep against us shouldn't hurt us too much, and we got to just bounce back with another sweep this weekend, and then forget about the Cornell series.
Anything else? Okay, thanks guys.
And you heard him right there. I mean, obviously Homer Gibson talking a little bit about getting in the net, but Matthew Copper, I mean, losing 5 games all year. Again, you see where you're at. You're always looking to improve. You get that from one of the assistant captains, and he said it perfectly though. I mean, it's they played a tough team in Cornell. That's why I asked him, like having mixed up the lines. Oh, actually, I asked Charlie that. Your coach talked about having to mix up the lines, and he's like, yeah, you do it, but it is a good advantage to have, and they're comfortable playing, if you mix the lineup. And that's why, I asked Ryan about that to start the show. Hockey heavy show, love it. Sun Devil hockey, forks up all day, yes. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. The locker room is definitely, gonna gonna be there. So it's it's huge for the to be able to do that. And again, yes, you get tendencies, where to put a puck for a guy, maybe with looking at him, like if he sees something where he's going to break, where to put the puck. But coach has been able to mix it up, and they've been able to have that flow and create. Obviously you want to create matchup issues for another team, but we said that third line for quite a while was the top 6, talking about it. And it's one of those things where they've been struggling with it, but that third line for a while. And then, I mean, Jackson Niedermeyer had the first goal for the Devils on Friday night, in the 3-2 overtime loss. So yeah, I mean, it's a good it's a good thing to be able to do. Yes, you do. When coaches see lines and you go through your preseason, you see how guys are playing. Do you want to keep lines together? Absolutely. It's hockey. But nonetheless, it also is one of those things where where they need to put the puck in the back of the net. Yes, easier said than done, but they've definitely created opportunities, and they've done that a lot this year. So yeah, just interesting to hear Gibson Homer's take and Matthew Copper's take on it. But this team again is going to put the work in, going to grind, and go in the right direction. So they have that in them. So, but without further ado, like I said, we also got to hear from Charlie Schoen, who had a good weekend. And so without further ado, here is Charlie after practice today here at Mullet Arena.
Tough weekend for you guys, just overall vibes in the locker room right now.
I think we're fine. I mean, we kind of know, it's part of the game. It's so just some adversity. We had a good day today at the rink, and, we're just going to keep building off it. But, we're not going to let it get us down. We're just going to try to get better and move forward.
Of course, having the day off yesterday, they looked like a lot of really small area battle drills, really trying to get that compete going. Was that something that's just either to get your legs back going or a little bit off of how the weekend went against Cornell?
I think a little bit of both. I think, just giving us the extra day, we kind of had to get moving, but, I think that's something we kind of had to emphasize is winning some more puck battles. I feel like that was something that we've kind of been weaker at as of late. I thought the coaches did a good job of, helping us work on that, but also making it fun. So it definitely makes it fun coming to the rink when you get to do stuff like that.
I heard one comment made kind of start practice saying kind of get back to the basics, go to the net, stick down on the ice. Is that something that's just been kind of a talk saying, hey, we just need to get back to playing a basic form of hockey?
Yeah. Obviously when things are going good, you kind of start, forgetting about little details sometimes, and you just start to play a little bit looser, and, that's kind of what we've been doing. So, obviously it's, what the coaches said, we just kind of have to get back to, what made us successful and, what got us on the winning streak, and it was doing things like that, so.
Is there anything specific that you can identify in that series against Cornell that kind of made it a big struggle?
I'd just say that we were, pretty perimeter, and I just felt like we had some lapses kind of in the beginning of the game, which, everyone could kind of see, but I think that's probably the hardest thing for us, is just starting out from, behind, but I think, that's just something we got to, be better at moving forward, is just having better starts. I think that's probably the biggest thing I'd say.
And then obviously you're playing teams back-to-back nights or 2 in a row, but seeing them 2 weeks earlier and then obviously another back-to-back with them, at least in Friday night's game, did you see like adjustments that they made right away?
Yeah, I could tell personally from their breakout, I felt like, they did a good job of getting out with speed. And I think that's obviously just with them kind of seeing us before. I think that, it kind of helped them pre-scout a little bit. I definitely think that, they did a good job pre-scouting us. They're a tight team anyway, just to begin with, so it made it even harder for us. But I thought they did a good job, so kudos to them.
Cornell probably the toughest team you guys will play, at least on paper, for the rest of the season. What's the importance, and what do you guys need to do to keep up the intensity for these last few weeks?
I think for us, it'll be easy just because we know our season's kind of on the line, and we want to make the tournament. That's our goal, and we can't take any game lightly. It doesn't matter who it is. So I don't think we'll have an issue staying motivated moving forward. We just kind of know how important every game is, so I think we'll be fine.
Coach shuffled around the lines a lot this weekend. Friday night, especially Saturday. How'd you view the change he makes? What do you think you guys need to make to get that top 6?
That's something we've kind of been trying to figure out for most of the year. It's just been, it's something where just kind of our more skilled guys, we kind of have to all come together as one, and we just have to be better. I think regardless of what coach does with the lines, I think we all have to step up and, do our role better. That's why he's kind of in that position to, have to shuffle the lines, because we're not doing our job, quite to, where we should be. So I think that's kind of on us, just being better.
When you have a team like Cornell coming in with a very set forecheck, they do a lot of the same things, trying to run the same plays whenever they're on the offensive side of the puck. How do you defend that?
Yeah, you just have to, I don't know, I just say you have to make sure that you're really dialed in at all times, just because, the team like that, if you have one little mental lapse, they're going to capitalize, and, that's just the style that they play. It's, they take advantage of when you make mistakes, so I think just try to limit mistakes and just try to keep your head in the game as much as you can, and hopefully it'll limit that stuff.
There's been a lot of mention that this is probably the most adversity you guys have faced throughout this year so far. Kind of how's the locker room been responding to that?
Yeah, like I said, I think we're fine. It's just some adversity. We have to battle it. We've been on the good side of it, a ton this year. So, I think we gotta look at it, as a positive, and it's something to learn from and move forward. And we can take some things from that weekend and take it into the the future weekends moving forward. And I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And you heard, look, it's not when a team wins so much, and like I said, you're 16-5-5, if you're 12-12-2, then that's then that's a story. Or 10-14-2 or something like that. That's a different story. This team, again, they're going to battle, and yeah, you heard Charlie say it right there. You hit spots in the season, and Matthew kind of alluded to that too. Is that it's one of those things where, you play a team like Cornell, you need to make adjustments. They've played, obviously, Denver. They've played Providence. They're it's not for a lack of seeing very good, good teams. And they said it's just you They win the Desert Hockey Classic, the one that they hosted, which, again, I mentioned that, phenomenal. So, look, I mean, for this team, the way they've been playing, and, again, even just seeing them move the puck and everything, it's to move the puck the way they do, and to also like I said, it's you to build that chemistry, but they're not going to freak out, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, even if mixed up Lions coaches and mixed up the staff not panicking, like, you get it. But again, big games coming up this weekend, and they got a chance to get it turned around, and we'll see. Well, and like I said, turn around from last weekend. It's like I said, 16-5-5. This team's rocking, and we need to support them. Like I said, talking to Ryan O'Reilly into the postseason, into the Frozen Four, because that would be very, very awesome to see. So, and to be a part of, and see what kind of run you can make. Who knows? Maybe you see a Denver again, which is a good chance, or a Providence, or maybe you have a chance to get back at Cornell. Who knows? But either way, it's about getting to the postseason for the Devils. So that being said, I'm again very, very stoked. We'll be out at Hoops later today, by the way, and I'll play some sound of that tomorrow. Talking to Jemiah Neal, he's a movie guy. Talking to Jemiah Neal, and play it tomorrow before the game, because they take on UCLA. Like I said, don't forget tomorrow. That is at 7:00, and again, you can go and check it out, because they'll be at Desert Financial Arena. And then Saturday, look, you can spend all of Saturday here. They play USC, the men's hoops, at noon, right? And then, be over about 3, can go, hang out a little bit, go to Mill, hang out a little bit here in Tempe. And then guess what? You can come back here for the hockey game at 7 p.m., because that's what I will be doing. And again, hit me up on X at Diablo00. If you're going to do it, let me know. But you can do that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, again, whatsoever at all. Looking forward to this matchup again with UCLA, but keep defending the home court. Like I said, your one loss, is at Washington, and yeah, they were up, and Washington pulled away in the end. Again, the last few minutes of that game, for Devils fans that didn't see, it took quite a while. There were some technical fouls dished out, and you can see a little bit of frustration from ASU, but at the same time, they are 4-1. Like I said, in Pac-12 play, looking good. You want to go to 5-6-1. You're at home, and go to 9-0 at home. I mean, that's just the simple part of it and the basics. But I will say this: it's one of those things where when we look at it, can lead, of course, to not being in the first 4 and playing home. So you defend your home court. They, like I said, they move up to 9-0 at home. Again, you want to go to 8-0 tomorrow. It is one at a time, but just you look at overall picture. You go to 9-0 at home early on. That's obviously going to be huge. At a conference, again, like I said, was a little tough on the road, neutral site, and on the road, but not at home. So that was good to see, and to get those 2 huge wins in with the Bay Area schools, and then beating Utah and Colorado at DFA. Said you guys saw it, the games, but like I said, Adam Miller growing into the offense, Jemiah Neal, what he's meant defensively, and yes, going in that direction to where his offense, finished up the last, where his offense was, the last half of last season for Jemiah, and going forward. I mean, him hitting those shots and him even getting to the hoop makes it so much, again, easier for this team. Just throwing that out there. So I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I will talk a little more hoops, a little more news and notes, give a shout out to another Sun Devil who is still playing in the playoffs in the NFL. So got to do that, but we'll step aside, and more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratuno at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, where you can check out the show. Also, my Instagram on IG Live, michael.caratuno.5. Hit me up, follow me there. And go to the YouTube. Again, you missed an awesome interview with Sun Devil senior forward Ryan O'Reilly from the hockey team, drafted by the Detroit Red Wings. Actually, a few of these guys real quick. Shout out Alex Young. Another senior forward was drafted by the Sharks. They own his rights. And Ty Murchison was drafted by the Flyers. So, again, got some guys that, again, they own their rights. Like Ryan helped me out with that through college. So, but yeah, Ryan drafted by the Red Wings. So, yeah, he will be there this year. But again, he's from, like I said, South Lake, Texas. You think of South Lake, Texas in football, but obviously, like you said, older brothers, older siblings are great. Like you want to kind of do what they do and compete, and then you want to be able to beat them. You didn't say that, but I did. But I mean, come on, having siblings, it's one of those things where you definitely want to show that I might be the youngest, but I can do this. So big shout out to Ryan O'Reilly from ASU Hockey joining me here on Pitchfork Lunch, which again, absolutely awesome. Love what obviously Coach Powers, again, who's been here in his staff, doing, 16th year overall for Coach Powers, and then ninth as a ninth season as a Division I team. It's just crazy to me. But yeah, ninth season as a Division I team. And, Coach Powers is associate coach Alex Hicks, along with Albie O'Connell, Dana Borges, director or assistant coaches. And again, just doing a heck of a job. I mean, yeah, they got some players, a little bit banged up right now, but overall, I mean, this is a team that, like I said, very exciting to come watch. Get on out here this weekend. Again, they don't need – I can tell you, but it's not that I need to tell you. You can come out, and when you check it out and see, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Again, being here at Mullet Arena, again, just absolutely awesome. But big shout-out, big ups to Ryan O'Reilly. So glad he jumped on Pitchfork Lunch, got a little bit of the Pitchfork Lunch mojo going. Yeah, absolutely love it. Shout out to Rachaad White. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Not sad about that. Obviously, you guys know me being a Cowboys fan. Since they got beat down, I don't have to deal with, Eagles fans, getting, we're going back to the Super Bowl, this and that. So the Bucs won. Rachaad White had a heck of a game, a Sun Devil, forks up. Absolutely love it. Him and Chase Lucas, again, both going on in the playoffs, and they'll be squaring off against each other next weekend as Tampa will now travel to the Motor City to Detroit to take on the Lions, as I'm sure a ton of you NFL fans know. But again, just some Sun Devils to watch out for, of course, Sun Devil greatness. So we know that. And like I said, Chase Lucas, again, never lost to that team. Never lost to that team down south. And obviously neither did Rachaad White. So granted, JUCO guy was here for 2 years, but still never lost to him. Gotta love that. Big fan of that here, as you all know. Yeah, so that is just wanted to give, again, shout outs to them as they go. Well, now their teams will go head to head next week to see who goes to the NFC Championship game. I know it won't be the Cowboys, obviously. So, but there are other teams that aren't there and never get there. So yes, still little wound salt, all that good stuff. But nonetheless, again, tomorrow, 7 p.m., UCLA coming to DFA to take on the Sun Devils in men's hoops. And like I said, I played the sound and we heard it. And Bobby Hurley, it was the break. The team needed to everybody needed to look in the mirror, be challenge. And he said coaching staff including. He wasn't just saying that to, protect players, however you want to look at it. It wasn't just saying it to protect players. That part to me, but they did. And what, again, Frankie Collins has meant, if you haven't been out to a game, you haven't watched a game, just in general, it's Frankie Collins and that attitude, that drive, and just kind of the leadership and the maturity that Coach Hurley talks about that he's seen Collins grow in. And that's the aspect that the Devils need. I mean, having a guy like you said, Jose Perez, Adam Miller, who, like you said, had the game, because of injuries basically taken away from him. And, now with the court ruling and the multiple transfer thing, and players can play, and there's going to be even if it does go back, and Coach Hurley said, I played it here on the show, he goes, floodgates are kind of open. I think it's going to be tough to go back. I mean, it could go back to it, at the end of this, athletic season, the school year, they could work on saying, no, this is one transfer and then a grad transfer. I mean, technically you do get two. You have to graduate first. So, one transfer, grad transfer, that's that. And again, I mean, I can see both sides of it. It's, but when you keep just, giving, that one commercial, I forget who it's for. It may be, I think it was Coke. And it's like, he's like, the player's like, oh, you get this. And he's like, and then somebody else comes in, oh, this and this. And then, like it's just keep taking more, like getting more. And look, however you feel about the transfer portal, I'm all for the transfer portal, because like I said yesterday, when coaches leave, players before couldn't, if they transferred, they had to sit out a year. Did the coach have to sit out a year when he took a new job? Like, okay, you can prep for it for the year. It's a fellow Division I job. No. So, and like I said, and I've said it a million times, in my life, and I'll say it 1,000,001 now. I've said it on the show. If you wanted to say, hey, you can transfer. If that coach leaves, you can transfer, but you can't go to where that coach goes. That's fine. Because players, obviously, they have their, choices. And I'm sure, when you have your choices and, you're down to your final 2 or 3, I'm sure those 3 are obviously very, very close. So if another coach is still there, relationships, you could have nipped this in the bud years ago. Same thing with, the NIL, if you handled scholarship stipends for all sports across the board, everybody, it's not just, you think, big sports, they deserve, like, once again, they did work hard and they earned it. 100% agree that getting your education paid for, which in this day and age, I mean, you're going out of state, you're thinking of what, at least $100,000 education with what it would cost, $150,000, $200,000, depending on these schools, some of the schools you're at, like, you're not paying a cent for that. You're playing a sport and say, the university, this and that, but you get to leave college without debt. A lot see it like that. And I can see that point. And I can also see, okay, well, if we're bringing these universities with our sports, millions and billions of dollars, or millions upon millions of dollars, it's pretty insane that we don't get that, that we wouldn't get more of a piece of that, which again, could have went into all sports across the board. Stipends, they go up every 2 years, a certain percentage every 2 years, because again, you're going to be getting more money within your scholarship, all for that. The NCAA, the reactive NCAA could have been proactive, but no, they just had to get sued and let all this go on and just sit there, with, just sitting there saying, look on my face like, no, you're amateur. There's all we have to say is you're amateurs, this and that. At school, you can't be paid, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, I got an idea. Have some substance to it, then just hide behind the amateur thing. But that would have been too hard for the NCAA. So you see my point there. But nonetheless, I digress back to hoops. But yeah, I mean, what Frankie Collins did with saying, him, Jemiah Neal, and Alonzo Gaffney. I mean, with them staying and again getting a ton of quite a few new players in, losing obviously quite a few to the transfer portal, it's a little frustrating because it's frustrating when you lose that and your new team has. I mean, I gotta say, coaches got to coach, but it is a hell of a challenge. But to have Collins and Neal and Gaffney back in that core and what they contributed, and see Frankie Collins' growth, Jemiah Neal, same thing, Alonzo Gaffney, what they mean defensively. And believe me, Coach Hurley, this team, you will play defense. You will play defense for this team, or just throwing it out there, your minutes are going to be down. I mean, Brian Salabonga is a perfect example of that. Not that his minutes should be down, but with injuries, Sean Phillips Jr. was out. St. Meeks, obviously, he's still, they're working on towards, getting him back, and it would be phenomenal if they could, especially with that front court help, get him back the last half of conference play. But Sean Phillips Jr., but like Wichamaya Neal, again, him and Frankie Collins crashing the defensive glass, a guy like Brian Salamaya, like I said, boxing, just getting a body on, so big guys can't get there. So those guards, instead of, you think guard, I want to get up court, want to release, but getting back there. Shemaya Neal has been a rebounding machine. Frankie Collins, I know, Jose Perez as well. But, and what Alonzo Gaffney, on the wing, just like I said, getting a longer, bigger body on guys to box out and not to give up crazy second chance points, which, which was part of the issue in non-conference play, the roller coaster that was non-conference play. Nights that they were doing that, then they were in games, they won games. Nights they weren't doing that, it was apparent, and the other team was just having their way on the boards. So that's the tough part. But Coach Rowley's done a good job of that. So we'll hear what Jemima Neal has to say at practice. I'll let you know tomorrow on the show. Also tomorrow on the show, aiming to have Coach Regal, Charlie Regal, from obviously the assistant head coach for Sun Devil football, special teams coordinator, working with the D-line as well. And man, the transfer portal, like I said, has been awesome. I want to hear it. I want to hear it from him, the defensive guys that they've added and everything. So yes, aiming to have Coach Regal on tomorrow. But same bad time, same bad channel tomorrow. Again, huge shout out to Sun Devil Hockey. Let me come out here to Mullet Arena, do the show. Also, obviously, Ryan O'Reilly, first hockey player to be on Pitchfork Lunch. Like I told you, more guests. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, you can follow me on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Diablo00. Go to the YouTube channel, though, Pitchfork Lunchers, and subscribe to the channel as we get set for, let's see what's coming up, softball, baseball, obviously finishing up seasons, which I'm not trying to rush them. But that being said, go to there and subscribe on YouTube at MVC005 on YouTube and subscribe. So yes, M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 on YouTube. Subscribe. You can go back and check out this show and the interview with Ryan O'Reilly off the top, which was awesome. The way practice ended, got him right away. So no issues with that. So I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And yes, you know it, Pitchfork Lunchers, as always, forks up.
Cherry's three. Johnny Walker. Ashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow.